Alright, haven't done these for a while, but this time I'm going to be doing another protagonist ace monster ranking on Yuga Ohdo. Because during the time that I was making these, Yuga was still active in Gold Rush, so I decided to wait it out as he has a lot of ace monsters and it just depends on what type of deck on the season. So once again, I am going to be ranking these based on my opinion on their designs on anime appearances, but no evolved forms as pretty much all his aces do not have evolved forms, and some could even be disputed whether they could be considered as part of his main ace lineup or just another addition to his deck. And I do have to say, Yuga is one of those unique protagonists where even the main villain kind of plays part of his deck, aka the 7th Road Magician, but I'm going to go more in the Yuga direction here because both characters do in a way play a different version of 7 Roads Magician. But anyway, other than that, let's just begin. So on the bottom of my list, which is number 7, unfortunately and ironically, it's the 7th Road Magician. Personally, I do not really like 7 Roads Magician design. In fact, to me, 7th Road Magician looks more like a terrible bad guy than anything, which ironically is being played by the villain here as well. Even the sword is just okay to me, but I do kind of like the flaming skull head in a way, in which there's the dark version, which is the oldest one, but I'm not going to really focus on that, but I actually like this one a little more because of the dark flaming hair. But to me, the weakest ace monster design, if I rank the evolved forms, I would be putting this a little higher, but since it would be unfair to the other aces, it is actually going to be the lowest one. And in which we go to number 6, Lightning Volcanor. Design wise, machinery looks pretty awesome and in a way looks cooler than 7th Road Magician, especially as a lightning Candor. The wing design is also pretty cool as well, but then we deploy the weapons, now that just looks pretty awesome. Although not as cool as the next ones on the list. And into number 5, it's 7th Road Witch. Design wise, pretty cutesy. I really like the flame design on the base version and especially her outfit design. I actually like it on her. The staff looks a little weird to me, but that's just whatever, but I still like the design. We even got the Ultis version, which actually just looks menacing and a bit scary actually, with a change of the hairstyle, which is also kind of makes me like this card more than 7th Road Magician when it comes to design, because she actually looks way better than 7th Road Magician. And into number 4, it's Mirror Novator. Mirror themed design is pretty cool, especially with the steel. I kind of like the armor design as well and the mirror on the chest, especially the crystal theme aesthetic. The only thing I don't really kind of like is the shoulder armor, since I think that's a little unnecessary, but other than that, I think it's one of the cooler ace monsters that Yuga has, especially on the spear. The crystal spear just actually looks pretty awesome here. And now to my number 3. The rest of them are spoiler maximum monsters. This one being Supreme Skyream Magnum Overload, which is basically Yuga's version of a maximum monster that he actually consistently used throughout the whole show in a kind of way. I have to say, it is actually pretty awesome as a cool jet. I just wish it actually had its own full-on robot mode. But as a big ass battleship, it definitely looks intimidating and I really love the weapons here. Now the wings are a little weird since one side is different from the other, which in my opinion could cause some balancing issues. But overall, I really like its design. In a way, it does remind me of Super Sentai or Power Rangers or any other mecha anime that you can think of. And then to number 2, Hyper Engine Vast Vulcan. Design wise, definitely a colossal behemoth. I really love how it's just basically made out of magma, and the volcano shoulders definitely make it look scary. It also has a dragon arm on the right, and the head design definitely looks a little bit of a dragon, but not really. And considering how big and it's made out of magma, this thing definitely can look a little scary. In a way, it does have a little bit the flame wingman aesthetic with that dragon arm, and combine it with a bit of lava golem in a way, but also a little more scary than lava golem because this is a giant behemoth with magma armor. I also love the vein design made out of magma, although not as cool as my number 1 spot, in which my number 1 spot is Supreme Machine Magnum Overload, which you can argue that if the jet form is part of this as well, but I'm going to count this separately because this monster was only used once throughout the whole anime and it was practically used as the final boss card. And its design wise, it's just pretty awesome. In a way, it really reminds me of a Mechazord. In fact, 3 robots did combine to make this, and in a way it does look like a robotic knight that is a superhero to basically give you a new path. I really love the Justice armor design as well, which is actually one of my favorite parts about this card, and the Justice sword and shield. So yeah, overall, coolest ace monster design when it comes to Yuga. Although not as cool as other main protagonists, I would say it is the coolest design when it comes to Yuga. And so that's it for these rankings on Yuga's main ace monsters. What do you guys think of it? How would you rank them? And what other cards would you put on the list? Since Yuga did in a way have a bunch of level 7s that could be in a way classified as ace monsters for his deck. But these were the cards that he was using the most often, with the exception of Magnum Overload, as that one is considered a final boss. And in a way, you can consider his level 7s as his main ace monsters, but considering that he doesn't use all of them too often, with the exception of a few, I'd only put the very few that he used pretty much throughout the whole series as his main aces, along with his maximum monsters, because his maximum monsters are his main aces as well. And Yuga has used 3 throughout the whole show. And overall, when it comes to Yuga's monsters, I think he's like the least favorable monsters when it comes to design, just because they're all a little weird and weak to me in comparison to the other ace monsters in the previous shows and even after it. Since yes, I do get it's kind of supposed to be more kid friendly, but that's just me. Other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.